Well, still in the spirit of Christmas, let's connect now with the Catholic Bishop of the Sokoto Diocese, Bishop Matthew Kukah. He joins us live via Zoom. Merry Christmas to you, Bishop. Thank you for joining us on TVC News. It's quite cheering to note how Nigerians are still making the best or the most of the season, giving, loving, sharing gifts in their own way and generally making themselves happy. How do you relate with that, Bishop?
Well, this speaks to the resilience of our people. Once again, as I said, happy Christmas to everybody. I'm happy to hear one of your commentators saying that, look, I mean, it's more a question of readjustment rather than the realities. Joy is not something that somebody gives to you. It's not anything that can be given to you materially. Please return to the scene and remember that at the birth of Jesus Christ, the first people to hear this wonderful news were those shepherds who were living in very terrible conditions of cold, darkness, and so on. And yet, this is where the good news of Jesus started. So, our joy of Christmas is not conditioned by the ourselves. This is not what determines how we behave. So the important thing is for us, Christmas is essentially family, but it's also community. So I'm happy that our people, in spite of the challenges, are still soldiering on and appreciating family and appreciating the fact that we are alive, because really this is what the celebration is all about. And we as Nigerians and Africans have always been a happy people. The challenge is for us to be encouraged to hold on to that happiness.
All right, Bishop, and in the midst of this year's Christmas celebration, just like we have been experiencing over the past 2 years or so, we are living in the reality of the lingering existence of COVID-19, and even now more so with the presence of Omicron variant. Well, the government has spoken advocating or directing half capacity in churches as we enter the festive season. The crossover night is also around the corner. For you, what is your reaction to these safety measures?
Well, I don't know. You've boxed in so many things into one basket. I'm not sure how to answer you. For the COVID and so on, the COVID is a worldwide phenomenon. We remain eternally grateful to God that in His infinite love and mercy, the situations that were predicted have not come to be. We pray that it continues like that, while the rest of the world also, and those who are infected, find healing as quickly as possible. But let's focus on the issues of the moment. I mean, hunger, destitution are far more serious existential threats to our lives than COVID-19 is. And I'm not belittling the impact of COVID. I mean, even with or without COVID, we have not gone through the kind of phase we are facing. I mean, the things we faced in Nigeria now. Remember, it's not even due to economic conditions, but millions of Nigerians cannot or would not be able to travel to the east.
Bishop, you were saying earlier that while not moving away from the seriousness of COVID-19, there are more serious issues that needs to be tackled. You talked about the socioeconomic challenges. Let's also look at the security situation in the country. Only yesterday, the president met with security chiefs, and we've seen police and other security bodies, taking measures to ensure that things go well and Nigerians are safe during this period. What do you make of all these measures amidst the insecurity in the land?
Well, I commend the security agencies for the efforts that they are making, in many cases with bare hands and so on. But let's be very clear. If you look at what has happened, just look at Ethiopia and see what happened in Ethiopia. Up to about a month ago, people were on tenterhooks, were not sure whether the rebels were going to come into Addis and literally take over the country. You saw a metaphor, the president putting on military uniform, and literally, what we've seen is we've not seen the end of that threat, but we have literally a condition of relative peace showing evidence of somebody being fully prepared and dressed for action. We have not seen a strategic design of a program to rout these characters out of their evil heavens. We were all these ad hoc arrangements about just ensuring we have a peaceful Christmas. We are not going to resolve this problem in piecemeal. Okay, we have a very serious crisis in our hands of sharing territory with bandits and sharing territory with non-state actors. Already in the 36 states of Nigeria and the Federal Capital Territory, the soldiers are everywhere. We are in a democracy. The soldiers cannot become an army of occupation. We appreciate their contributions, but there has to be an efficient and a clinical plan to rout these evil forces and claim our country back. This is really what we are talking about. I mean, you can line up all the soldiers and checkpoints and so on. People are still being kidnapped. People are still unaccounted for. We cannot sleepwalk our way, to the security of this country. And like I said in my Christmas message, it's over 7 years now. We have literally, the talk about the Chibok girls has deteriorated into whispers. Our children are still in captivity. Hundreds of Nigerians are still in captivity. Hundreds of Nigerians are still negotiating with bandits against their will. There is an existential threat to the collective survival of Nigeria. Most importantly, in northern Nigeria, farmers who have been slaughtered on their farms have tried to make the peace they can with bandits, but there is a serious threat of hunger next year. And these are the realities that are staring at us in the face. So in all this talk about meetings and meetings and meetings, and we are not seeing a clinical and an aggressive decision to take back our country. These ad hoc arrangements are not acceptable because we cannot go on like this.
All right, we're entering into the year 2022. It's the expectation of many that it will be a prosperous one, but with Nigeria and its peculiarities, where do you see the country headed? I've seen your body language and your previous comments during this interview have also, alluded to your discontentment in areas. But, generally in the new year 2022, what would you like to see? And what are your assurances, or how would you assure Nigerians on the new year?
I cannot give Nigerians any assurance. I'm not the commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm not an elected official. Those who are elected to secure our country, the onus squarely falls on them. So for me, it's not so much a question of what are our hopes. Like somebody said, today is the tomorrow we dreamt about yesterday. Let's not delude ourselves by thinking that somehow the new year will bring us new promises. No, the new year will only change if, for example,
Bishop Matthew Kukah, we thank you very much for your contributions on TVC News this hour.